This video is brought to you by Artistworks. Artistworks are part of True5 Studios, and they offer direct access to master musicians through their innovative online learning platform. Partnering with iconic musicians, they've crafted decades of industry experience into guided paths of online lessons. Crucially, there's an option to get personal feedback tailored specific to your playing via their unique video exchange. Get direct guidance towards your playing goals. You can use the code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of Artistworks courses. When it comes to Les Pauls that aren't Gibson, there are a few options out there, right? There are Heritage, which are an offshoot, I think, essentially of what initially was the Gibson, one of the Gibson factories that basically a bunch of people left and formed Heritage. There are Tokai that, of course, were well known for making incredible kind of copies over in Japan at a time when maybe Gibson weren't making the best stuff. Greco. What else have you got? These days you got Fujigen, that's an option. And Eastman makes some really cool ones, I'm told. I've not played one. Epiphone, of course. And then one you may or may not have heard of is Maybach. Now, Maybach are a European company. I believe they might have something to do with the Furch guitars. It might be those same people. Now, this guitar, I have to say, it doesn't look like my idea of the perfect Les Paul. The back of it has kind of this piano black type nitro, and the front of it is, it's called Havana Tobacco Burst, I believe. Now, I don't know if they made actual 58 Les Pauls like this, but the Gibson Custom Shop does release these Bourbon bursts, or bourbon, however you say that. I think that's roughly what they're going for here. has a book but has these kind of softer shoulders. But essentially it's pretty close, I think, spec-wise. Quite a chunky neck, really nice chunky neck. It doesn't have the nibs, but does have a nice dark rosewood fretboard, which a lot of the Gibsons now don't. And this is the real kicker for me. This one is an incredibly lightweight guitar, and it weighs like as much as a good Strat, so sort of around the 7.5 pound mark. That's a full pound lighter than my Epiphone Lazarus, and 2 pounds lighter than my Les Paul Standard. And this is one of those things that I've actually been looking for in Les Pauls, because I have a feeling that the type of Les Paul that speaks to me most is one that's a bit lighter weight, that sort of balances out some of the ergonomic factors of a Les Paul, so that at least it doesn't feel like you're carrying a boat anchor around your neck, if that makes sense. It has this relic which may or may not come up very well on the camera. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get to show it, but it's not on the Murphy Lab level of relic, I would suggest. To me, it looks, in some ways, maybe it's partly to do with kind of the aging or not aging, in this case, of the hardware. So you see, obviously, the pickup covers are pretty much pristine, and this hardware is not exactly not. But aesthetics aside, and I think even aesthetically this might speak to some of you. Yeah, it's not my ideal colour. I think the ideal colour for me might be, I don't know, the heritage kind of cherry type or a dirty lemon. But I think the main thing that I'm interested in this guitar for is because it is incredibly lightweight, plays really well, better than any of the Les Pauls that I've got here and had before, and I was really impressed with it. I found it on a forum, and Kevin was selling it from Gloucester, and I managed to pick this up for £1,250, which I think is a bit of a steal for the quality that you're getting with this type of guitar. I think new they're more around the £2,000 mark. I'm not sure if you will have heard of Maybach or not. I heard of them from Thierry, if you still watch the channel. I did a couple of Skype lessons with you back in the day, but he had this Maybach kind of Strat type guitar, and he really rated it. And, you know, well-made, handmade guitars from Europe that aren't incredibly expensive are not that common. So I'll just show you some of the tones, but you'll probably see this on the channel a lot more, and I'm probably going to end up selling my other Les Pauls, to be honest. That's kind of the level that this thing is at. And it looks a way that I wouldn't at all be worried about taking out and gigging it, because to me it's not the most amazing looking guitar anyway, but it does sound and play really well. It's got the 59, I think, Spirit of 59 amber pickups in it. Let's just run through some tones. I'm using like a matchless type. For some reason it's just speaking to me an awful lot as a guitar. Really lightweight, again, that's the real kicker for me. Great fretwork, it's playing really well, a nice kind of medium action. The nut is cut nicely and installed nicely, I think. And it's just playing really well. And, you know, looking kind of oldish. I'm not sure the aesthetics are my favourite part of it, but it's not putting me off the guitar because it just plays incredibly well. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried a Maybach? Have you dug one? Any other Les Paul options out there that you think are worth shouting about? I think that's the best one that I've played that is not a Gibson Murphy Lab, to be honest. So kind of fairly high praise, I guess. Cheers for stopping by, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Oh, the preset Matched Spank, I think it's called something like that, like a matchless lead with a bit of brightness to it, a bit of jangle. I thought it kind of really worked nicely with this guitar. Cheers.